Hey, quick check-in for some very exciting baseball news because it looks like MLB could be getting their 31st and 32nd franchises within the next decade. So Jeff Passan wrote a fantastic article on ESPN.com outlining MLB's expansion plans. And it looks like Salt Lake City and Nashville are the front runners for the 31st and 32nd teams in Major League Baseball. So in 1988, the 26 owners of Major League Baseball teams, the 26 teams, they outlined a plan. They said in the next 10 years, so by 1998, we will add 6 teams and we will be a 32-team league. We sit here today in 2024 and they clearly failed very aggressively at their plan. So it's still, though, in the plans of Major League Baseball to get to that 32-team number. But there are things that need to be sorted out before they can expand to Salt Lake and Nashville. The first thing being the teams that are currently in the league all need comfortable homes. And there are 2 right now that do not have those. The Oakland A's are a very shaky situation where they look like they're going to be moving to Las Vegas, but Las Vegas is really unsure if the team will be coming. They might be staying in the Bay Area. They're definitely not staying at the Coliseum. The fans want the owner to sell the team. So that whole franchise needs to get sorted before Major League Baseball expands to anywhere. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Rays need a refurbished stadium or a brand new stadium in a different spot. Major League Baseball is asking the Rays to sort out their stadium plans before it looks like they have to move the team, which doesn't look like it's imminent. But if it becomes a problem with their stadium, and they're going to city council this spring to figure out some stadium plans, so we'll see how that whole thing plays out. But Major League Baseball wants that sorted before they talk expansion. The second hurdle before we get to 2030 and they start expanding. The collective bargaining agreement that the owners have with the players is expiring. So in 2026, that whole thing's over. And I don't know if we're going to get a strike or if we're going to get a lockout, but that whole thing might be a mess. But in that collective bargaining agreement, it looks like the owners are going to want to include some language about expansion. So they can just do it, carte blanche, and the reported expansion fee for these new 2 franchises is somewhere they're going to net $4 billion between these 2 teams. So I don't know if it's going to be 2.5 for each of them or like 2.25 or just 2, but it's going to be $4 billion plus combined for these 2 teams, which is crazy. The owners in the collective bargaining agreement, amongst everything else, they're going to sort about the new rules of the game and how they split revenues and everything else that goes in collective bargaining moving forward. The owners are going to put in there some language about expansion that'll leave the players out of it and have the owners just go do their thing, add the 2 teams and all that stuff. Plus, the most important thing that I could have led with, but I didn't, they're going to get in their language about how to handle the expansion draft because expansion is coming. It is inevitable, and they need some concrete way, and they need to agree with the players. Hey, when these 2 teams come in, we're going to have a whole bunch of roster spots. Here's how we're going to formulate those teams through the expansion draft. They're going to figure that out in 2026 during the negotiations for the new collective bargaining agreement. Third hurdle that they need to sort out is these 2 cities are the front runners, but they haven't been awarded franchises. Like, we know that. So in Salt Lake City, they have a group called the Miller Group. The Miller Group is led by a party that used to own the Utah Jazz, and it's different from the Smith Group that currently owns the Utah Jazz that is trying to bring an NHL team. This Miller Group owned the Jazz for 35 years and now wants a baseball team. So there's financing there. There's land and plans and everything ready to go in Salt Lake City. That's why they're the front runner, but they haven't been awarded anything yet. And it looks like Portland was the 3rd team in that used to be ahead of Salt Lake, but now Salt Lake has kind of surpassed Portland in MLB's expansion plans. So there's a big contingency in Portland who's ready to swoop in if an expansion franchise might fall to them. Nashville, on the other hand, seems the most inevitable. They have been waiting in the wings for a while now. There's a group there called the Music City Group that's trying to bring baseball to Nashville, and they've been waiting. They have everything they need, and they just need some more financing, some billionaires to attach themselves to and get baseball to Nashville. But like, they're waiting in the wings and have been for a while, and MLB really likes them and wants to give them a team eventually in the 2030s when they're ready to expand. And let's say between now and then, which is quite a bit of time, but really short amount of time when you're talking about building a whole stadium and getting everything together, something happens and like Nashville falls through, Salt Lake City falls through, maybe Portland doesn't come through. Some of the other cities that Major League Baseball is potentially looking at include Charlotte, North Carolina, San Jose, California, Austin, Texas, Vancouver, BC, and Mexico City. Those are all cities that Jeff Passan named in his article. And last thing to note, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the MLB, is retiring in 2029. I could see that this being his last hurrah. I'm gifting 2 more teams to Major League Baseball, getting us to 32 teams. I'm going to retire as these 2 franchises are awarded. They build their stadiums. We enter the 2030s. It's 2034. Everything's ready. They come into the league. Rob Manfred is sitting on a long yacht somewhere looking at what he's created and very happy. So that's very cool. If you are in Salt Lake City, Utah, if you are in Nashville, Tennessee, and you've yearned for baseball, it could be coming very soon. The next decade is very close. We're almost halfway through this one. It's been too long coming. 32 makes sense. There could also be major realignment in baseball where we see them go to different division formats. It makes so much sense to just change everything. Next collective bargaining agreement, you change everything. You anticipate the 2030s where you're going to have 32 teams, 16, maybe just go to east to west like the rest of sports. Baseball, like I get you're so reluctant to change, but maybe you make the National League the Western Conference, you make the American League the Eastern Conference, you realign the divisions. Who cares about the history of who's playing what division? Divisions change all the time. I think it'd make a lot of sense to take this opportunity, realign everything, get it done, make baseball make a little bit more sense to the casual viewer. Okay, that's it. Also, small note, I did a giant video on the Fanatics Nike debacle, the jersey stuff. More pictures are coming out. The pants are see-through. I might just have to do a video on the see-through pants because it's getting ridiculous. There's been some very good reporting done by a lot of people around baseball on the Nike deal and how much of a failure it is right now and how bad Nike and Fanatics are looking right now. So that might be something I got to talk about in the next couple of days as this continues to blow up and we continue to see that we can see right through players' pants. That's kind of a problem. That's it for me tonight. I'll see you again very soon.